Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Tony Horton's here. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Meredith.
So I said, holy crap, Tony Horton. And then I said, I'm just going to go ahead and hit record because, I don't get fangirly. I don't get weird. I'm a little weird because I just think you're so great. And we have a saying in our house, do your best, forget the rest, that I picked up, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have infiltrated the Atwood household. So, you're kind of a big deal here. So I'm honored to speak with you. So thank you.
That is a pleasure. Thanks for taking on the do your best, forget the rest saying, Monica.
Yeah.
Call it. But yeah. All based on a partially stolen phrase from, right, you ready? From this book.
Oh, the 4 agreements.
4 agreements.
Number 1, don't take anything personally.
Correct.
And I forget the rest because I get stuck on that one and I go, I can't agree to that. So I'm out.
Number 1, be impeccable with your word. 2, don't take anything personally. 3, don't make assumptions. And number 4, always do your best. Right. And when I read this book, all of that sort of came together for, don't make assumptions, don't take things personally. There's a lot, those things basically said to me, we're focusing too much on the wrong things. And if I just did my best and I stopped thinking about the things that were slowing me down and preventing me from becoming a better man, then I should just forget all that and just focus on being my best. Do your best and forget the rest. Wait, let me write that down.
Before it leaves.
You write that down and let me trademark that thing. And so I did.
Right.
So if you live anywhere in the world and you try to put that on a t-shirt, it will cost you.
Coming after you. Yes. Oh my gosh. So when we got we just moved recently and I said, I'm going to go find my P90X DVDs. I'm going to dust them off and put them on the podcast, as an artifact. Cause there's, DVD player. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Not that the workouts are artifacts.
Smithsonian. That's where they're going to go. Mm-hmm.
Not that the workouts are the artifacts, but the DVDs. Right. Mm-hmm. And I did not unpack them yet. So, boo, but I want to tell you that when we did the P90X workouts, I had a 1 and a 2-year-old. I was practicing law full time. I was really struggling. I've always struggled with my weight. It's kind of a thing for me, but really just dark times. And I think back to those moments and I think about my yoga mat and I think about P90X and I think about just doing my best, truly. So you have this sort of thread in me that is more important than just fitness. It was I just got to show up and do the best I can practicing law and do the best I can with these kids who are 14 months apart. And so I do want to thank you for that, truly, from the bottom of my heart. So there's
my pleasure, even though I had no idea I was doing any of those things.
No idea.
But it's interesting. I've heard so many amazing tales. This kid accidentally fell off a 3-story building into an alley late at night. He lost his footing and he broke almost every bone in his upper body, including his face, his eye sockets. And the doctors said to him, and they read his rights, not his Amanda rights, but his last rights.
Last rights, right.
A couple times, but his heart just didn't want to stop. And the doctors put him back together again, like Humpty Dumpty. And they said, hey, you had such great muscularity. He was on his final week of P90X. On his first week of P90X, he would have passed away. And so you just hear a lot of amazing stories about this thing that you created with the sole purpose of trying to help people feel better and get stronger and be more flexible and be more capable. Yeah. It's becomes too much about before and after pictures and 6-pack abs and cute booties and big biceps. When in reality, it's just about, it's about surviving better on Earth. It's this amazing tool that we're given. And so we just mistreat it so badly, so often, a lot of us. But a lot of us figure it out. And I gave them, the hammer doesn't build the house, right? So I gave them the tool and they used the tool. And, I just went about my business doing what I do. And then when you meet people and hear these stories and go on podcasts like yours, it's just, it blows my mind. I'm still amazed by it. You know, I mean, the product doesn't, no one's, P90X is still very popular for some reason. And it's, I don't know how many years old, you know, I mean, it's, but people keep, they go try spinning or they go to CrossFit or they try something else. And they always come home, which is nice, you know.
Yeah.
Because it works well.
It does. There's nothing like it.
Always will. True. Yeah.
There's nothing like it. It's brilliant. And the ab ripper is, I mean, you kind of were satanic when you made that. That was a little evil, the ab ripper, but you know, what can you do?
Yeah. It works.
What can you do?
Yeah.
So let's rewind. How did you get into doing all you did? How did you get into health and fitness? I mean, you are definitely a pioneer and, you know, did it the right way. It just seemed like you had it figured out and not in a way that was, it never felt like your products were just out there to sell. It really felt like you wanted, just like you said, for people to have a better life, to reach their most potential. Like, what happened in your life for you to want to help other people like that?
Well, I wanted to help myself first. You know what I mean? Like when the masks come down, put yours on first so you can help others. So that needed to happen. I needed to have that life experience. And as a skinny kid who was bad in school, who got beat up at the bus stop, you know, who moved 6 times before 5th grade, you know, it was kind of a weird, rough start for me. You know, there was alcoholism in the family. My father was a tank commander, so there was sort of that Great Santini vibe in the house. You know, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
In that movie. So you know, I mean, I just felt frightened much of the time. But I had a sense of humor early on. I don't know where I mean, my parents weren't funny people, and there weren't that many funny people in my life. But I just somehow, you know, maybe it was part of my DNA from somewhere. But I just always used humor as a means to survive. And, you know, somewhere between being scared to death and trying to make people laugh, you know, I made my way all the way through college and ended up taking a weightlifting class in college that I really enjoyed. And I was a skinny, scrawny kid, but I wasn't at the end of that semester, which was really cool. You know what I mean? And I thought, wow, this is going to get the girls. And then it turned out you needed to be, you know, have a personality as well. So it turns out that the personality is kind of more important. You know what I mean? And being authentic and being humble and being nice. These are things that matter as much as as much as that, right?
Yeah, so, I feel like I need to give you one too.
Yeah.
Who flex? Can you flex?
It's part of every podcast I've ever done.
Oh my gosh.
But I came out to California, and then I was a young actor and a model, a little bit. Hold on. I was a young actor and a model. There I go. I'm back. And I'm just making my way and hand to mouth, and then I got myself in some credit card debt, and I was very fortunate to, as I started to train, I just fell in love with the culture out here, because there were gyms on every corner. You could surf and play volleyball in the morning, go skiing in the afternoon. That's something about Southern California that's quite unique to almost anywhere in the world. And it, it's sunny and 72 all the time, except for today it's 95. It's a little warm today here in California. It's not great, ideal for being outside. But yeah, I just, I just happen to gravitate to those types of people and those kinds of activities. And, I just learned how to be a strong, fit guy. It helped my confidence. It helped my attitude, my memory, cognition, all these different things. I didn't realize at the time that my brain was changing along with my body because of being, pretty consistent with my fitness. I learned that later from John Rady, who's a Harvard professor. So he wrote about it in his book, Spark. And then Sanjay Gupta, who's become a friend over the years, also wrote about, physical activity in the brain and what that does for you as a human being in general. And like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll stop procrastinating so much and I'll start being more productive. And then I met Tom Petty through my boss, and I started training Tom. Didn't know what I was doing, wasn't certified, just kind of winging it, just doing what I was doing with him. And, when I first saw Tom, he had a cigarette and he said, hey, Tony, I'm not really into exercise, but I'm going on tour and I'm fat. Nobody likes a fat rocker, so Tom's house, and then I went to Billy Idol's house, and then I went to Sean Connery's house. Submarines don't react well to bullets.
Oh my gosh, did you really?
Yeah, Sean Connery. I got him. I had him for about a month before he went on down to Mexico to do a movie called Medicine Man. And I had Shirley MacLaine, which was just amazing. And then Bruce Springsteen and Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham and Bryce Dallas Howard and Octavia Spencer and Allison Janney and Jason Sheff from the band Chicago and the beat goes on. And there was a period there for a while where and before that I was a mime at the pier. I was working as a handyman.
Wait, you were a mime at the pier? What?
Yeah, I was a trained pantomime back in college. I used to be a street performer back in Rhode Island. I would do the box and the whole bit and the whole thing. Oh my gosh. Hang out and the thing.
I had a dream about a mime like last week. That's weird. Really weird.
No one does. But yeah, so I was a street before. I had every odd job under the sun, and then I was all of a sudden a celebrity fitness trainer. How did that happen? I mean, for a while there, I had Billy Idol, then Tom Petty, then Annie Lennox, then Stephen Stills. Couldn't do much for Stephen from Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Hey, coach, didn't know my name for like the first month. Coach, he called me coach. And then I trained the boss when he was in town once in a while. Him and his wife Patty Scialfa. It was a cool gig, you know what I mean? It was, but you're driving all over town, your car's getting beat up, and you only can charge so much money, one person at a time. But the acting career and the training kind of came together when I got my first gig working for Nordic Track, going up to Minneapolis and doing, walking. I was a trainer. I had a general sense of kinesiology and exercise science, so as an actor, I learned how to read a teleprompter. So it wasn't like 37 takes for me to be able to do this stuff, so that was a great training ground. And then I met Carl Deichler, the now CEO of Beachbody. And we did Power 90 and P90X and P90X2 and P90X3 and 22-minute hardcore and double time and the one-on-ones and 20 years with that company. And, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of people got fit and I left Beachbody a couple of years ago and now I'm into some new stuff.
Oh my gosh. Tell me how fit you have to be to do what you did, because I can work out. I can do lots of working out, but I don't think I can talk while doing it, while smiling, while helping other people. Like, how do you train for that? Is that a skill you develop, or do you just show up and try it?
Well, if you watch me very closely, which maybe you did, you would know that I would train. I wouldn't do the whole workout most of the time.
Right.
Jump in for some pull-ups. I'd do some demonstrations. And as soon as I felt like I was getting gassed, I'd go, hey, let's go check out Bobby over here. And you can see it. Bobby's like his arms are bent, his eyes are forward, and then okay, I got my breath. And then I go back to a couple moves. And then when you rehearse something hundreds, not hundreds, but dozens of times, and you know it inside and out, the tricks of the trade, where to kind of get in to participate. Because I'm a trainer / coach, so I want to make sure that I'm cueing everything properly, so the person at home that's got their head in the floor, or they're, they got their back behind me and they're on a pull-up bar, I can say things in such a way so they don't need to see me to do what they're doing, and that just takes practice, like anything else.
Yeah.
And now, like all the workouts I do now, I don't lift a finger. Hey, we got Adam here. He's going to show you how to do the move. Yeah, Adam, great. All right, everybody, I'm going to start counting, and you start working. And go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, I mean, you've earned it.
What's the next move? I might demo a move. Let me show you this move. And so, yeah, I leave the workouts to just me and my buddies in the mornings. And while I'm on camera, I don't. But then again, with Tonal, I'm with Tonal now. I'm doing every single move, man. Every
Oh, you are with Tonal. Cool.
Yeah.
Good for you. What is the one thing that you wish you could bottle and feed everyone in the universe about fitness? What is the one thing that people need to know to unlock their potential, to unlock their fitness, to change their lives?
Faith, belief, mindset. It's all about mindset. You've got to have the right attitude. You have to have a reason why that is so substantial for you, based on who you are on this earth, that there's nothing that will slow you down. I think, I'm a young mother. I'm getting my law degree, and I've got these 2 young kids. But you managed somehow. Your raison d'etre, as the French would say, was spot on, because you were able to show up. It's showing up. Like what is it that you need to have inside of your noggin so that there's nothing whatsoever that will slow you down ever. And I don't, what are those magic words? I mean, I'm constantly trying to figure out various ways to disseminate what it takes to be consistent. It's about consistency. It's about purpose. It's about having a plan, right? If you have those things all lined up, I know why, I know when, and I have multiple ways to be accountable, whatever they are, depending on you as an individual, and if you got that, then all you got to do is you best forget the rest, and you're going to be fine. I mean, some people are going to get results in a couple of weeks. Some are going to take 2 years. You just have to constantly be on the road. Like people will say to me, how often should I X? How often should I? All the time. The answer is all the time. How often do you breathe? All the time. How often do you eat? All the time. How often do you sleep? All the time. How often do you pay your bills? All the time. How often do you go to work so you can get money to pay your bills? All the time. All right. And these are all the things that we do to survive. Surviving is cute. That'll give you a subpar life. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Oh, look at Bob. He died at 63 of some ailment that he could have avoided, but he decided to make a lot of shitty decisions between, high school and his dying day. You know what I mean? Too much booze, wrong kind of food, no physical activity, high stress, terrible job, lousy friends. You know what I mean? Like these are all things that you get to change if you want to. All right. The only people that are on our way most of the time are us. You know what I mean? You could point your fingers all you want, but really, it's here. So yeah, that's it. It's just, I want this thing. I'm going to do this thing. I believe this thing is going to work, whether it's me or spinning or CrossFit or ninja courses or whatever your thing is. I mean, you got to kind of have enthusiasm for whatever it is that you're going to be doing. And if you don't, well, then you're going to, you're going to get bored, you're going to get hurt, or you're going to plateau, and then you're going to quit. And then 6 months are going to go by, and here I go again. And pandemic happened, and I was talking to Sanjay Gupta. There were different categories of people that went through the thing. There were hunks. The hunks were the ones that like, this is it. This is an opportunity. I'm going to take it. I got downtime. I'm at home. Hunks. Then you got the chunks. And then you got the drunks. You got the drunks. The drunks are like, right? And then you got the monks. I ain't leaving the house. I ain't going anywhere. And then there's a fifth category. Those were the punks who thought the whole thing was fake news and didn't get vaccinated and then got sick.
I was a hunk chunk. Like I just worked out and ate and worked out and ate. I just put on some muscle mass.
Yeah.
Like
I was a hunk monk. Yeah, I didn't go. I haven't been on an airplane. I haven't been in an airport. I see people now. I mean, everybody I know is vaccinated, and we're all safe and sound. But yeah, the masks only have just recently come off.
Yeah.
So everybody's going through this a different way. I just hope the folks that are hesitant, don't get super sick or accidentally kill somebody. That would be horrible.
Right. Well, you brought up something. Like another one I want to put on a t-shirt, but the whole idea of consistency, like how often do you pay your bills all the time? Like, I think that is a big hitch and many, I know it is for me, because I go, well, I am consistent for 64 days at a time, for 71 days, for 29 days. Like I want an answer to how long consistency I need to be. And I think your answer might be all the time. Forever.
Because keep in mind, when you physically move, and I've touched upon this earlier, if you read John Rady's book, Spark. Where are you? Here it is. Read that.
Okay. What's the last name?
John Rady, MD.
Rady.
Spark. You read that book, and then you read this book. Sanjay Gupta's book, Keep Sharp. Right? And it's all about the effects of Rady's book is more so about the effects of physical activity on the brain. But Sanjay covers multiple categories, but I think chapter 4 he really goes deep into it. Because norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, brain-derived neurotropic factor, miracle growth for the brain, proteins and molecules jamming themselves together inside your temporal lobe every time you breathe deeply when you exercise hard, running, weightlifting, boxing, whatever it is. So what happens is your cognition improves, your memory improves, your productivity goes up, you sleep better, you don't need blue pills for sex anymore. I mean, it's like a lot, it solves a lot of exercise. Food is about health. Exercise is giving your body the ability to keep doing things as you get older, right? So physically able to do stuff, but it's about brain health. It affects you know who you are after a workout as opposed to who you are before, you know? Oh,
Nice,
God.
mommy.
Here we go. But mommy worked out today. All of a sudden honestly, who doesn't want to be happy and productive and be able to remember their name at age 95? And this is all from exercise. It's a 1/3 physical, 1/3 mental, 1/3 emotional shift that happens from exercise. It's not just, oh, let me do this and go like this. This is cute. This is nice. This is going to help you lift your groceries or do whatever, or walk down the beach and get whistled at. I don't know what your modus operandi is on that, but it really is. It's about here, man. It's about here and how you, it's thinking and feeling is about everything. And how do you want to think and feel today? Well, if you don't work out, well, then we know that you're not going to think and feel as well as somebody who did.
Right.
Yeah. It's truly magic. And our demise comes from 3 things: behavioral, environmental, and genetics. Now, back in the old days, you could control only 2 of those. But based on most recent science, you can control all 3. You can change your own genetics in your lifetime based on your behavior. Jack LaLanne lived to be 96. Neither of his parents lived that long because he just, he took care of the environmental, behavioral part of his journey. And then that affected his genetics. If you look at 23andMe and all these different kinds of ancestry things where you find out about your genetics, and then what do you get? You get an instruction on how you should behave. You know what I mean? Stress is a killer. You know what I mean? It's like this amorphous thing that you can't see or touch or smell, but it's, you know what I mean? God damn it, you're on the floor, you're screaming and yelling. It's just your cortisol levels through the roof, your adrenal glands are fried, and then you get cancer and you go, oh, I got bad luck. Or it's just, no, you acted like a bonehead your whole life. That's how you got cancer. There's so many variables. It's food, it's behavior, it's quality of sleep. Most people, they don't even have any mindfulness practice at all. 0. And you need proper food, good supplementation, mindfulness. These are important things that you have to have in your life almost every day,
Yeah. So the answer is all the time, forever and ever. Anyone who is doubting, there you go. Yeah. The answer is forever. And my latest example was, we were up in Massachusetts for 2 years. We lived up there, and I'd been doing a lot of burpees, just burpees. Got real good at them, and slipped on some ice at the gas station, just planted down, popped right back up. Was like, that was a burpee.
Ice burpee. Ice burpee.
And the interesting part, so it wasn't just the physical, it was also the mental, because I could laugh at myself. And I thought, you know what, if I hadn't been working out and then I was just like the weird mom who fell at the gas station, it would have just been this whole, it had so many components to it. It was like, you're damn right, I just fell and popped right back up. Go me. And I even tweeted about it. And it changes everything when you're able to do something, or when you, I hear you. It's life.
Yeah, and you don't need a gym membership. You could use one of my programs. Obviously, one of the other keys too is making sure you have as much variety in what you do. Working on your weaknesses and strengths. That's what P90X is. That's what all my programs are. It's just a matter of okay, I'm going to do a bunch of stuff that I like. But then again, I'm going to force myself to do things I don't like. Not being too attached to the outcome is helpful as well. If you're a type A freak and you always think that there's no curve, it just goes like this. I'm out of shape. I'm in tremendous shape, and I'm going to do it in a month. The journey goes like that, all over the place, because of injuries, because of whatever happens in life. Some people, they slip and fall on the ice and they get hurt, and they're out of commission for 6 weeks or more. But you know, you are a burpee queen, so you managed.
I'm a burpee queen. That's right. Well, I mean, I broke my foot just walking to the car one day, 10 years ago, because I mean, I wore the wrong shoes, right? So,
Oh.
you know, whatever. You
Steve
never know
Martin.
what's coming.
Yeah, yeah. I've torn my right biceps tendon. I've broken my left tibia, fibia, shattered my right kneecap, broke my nose a bunch of times, been knocked out cold, had Ramsey Hunt syndrome, where I lost 25 pounds and sick as a dog for almost half a year, and still not 100% from that. I don't know if I ever will be, but yeah, you deal with what you get. You know, you lose a finger, you figure out how to use the other 9. You know, you just figure it out.
Right. Well, let's talk about what the new stuff you're up to. You have a new venture, Power Life. So let's hear it. Tell us about it.
I'm drinking it. It's in there. It's in there.
Oh.
Power Life. See, the cool thing about, I mean, I had a tremendous run with Beachbody. My relationship with Carl and people over there are still really great. And, but, they were kind of moving in a direction that didn't feel right for me. Also, like, why does anybody leave anything? Because it ain't what you expect it to be, you know what I mean?
Right.
Both financially and workload wise. And so it was time to go. And that was a scary period. And for a couple of years, I was just sort of looking over my shoulder going, what's next? But when people found out that I was no longer with them, the people they were knocking on my door. So I met with this company called Golden Hippo, and they work with Dr. Gundry and others. They just, we were talking about supplements at that point because I was coming out of my illness and having lost all that weight. I was talking to this kid. His name is Will Valilla, a lot of I's and L's. Will Valilla, and he's their head scientist over there, their product developer when it comes to supplements. And he was talking about HMB and vitamin D and how that affects leucine, which is one of the branched chain amino acids, and that this is kind of some new research. And since you're such a skinny, scrawny little ex-trainer, let's get you using some of this stuff. Tell us what you think. And I had tremendous results with it. And so that became one of our products. And then, of course, I did a lot of blood work, and I discovered that with the Ramsey Hunt, I also had Epstein-Barr, and I also had leaky gut. So I was more screwed up than I thought, and a lot of this had to do with some of the stress I was going through at the time. And so we looked at my leaky gut, and we came up with this product called Foundation 4, which is prebiotics, probiotics, sun fiber, and 2 servings of vegetables, just really, right? And that, I think that's one of our most popular products because a lot of people have a nervous stomach and bad digestion and irritable bowel syndrome and, constipation and diarrhea. And it's a miracle product, the Foundation 4. So, and then we just kept going from there. We got whey proteins and plant-based proteins. And then, I needed a decent pre-workout formula that didn't make me all jittery, like we just get going. And then halfway through the workout, you're bonking. So we came up with a super low caffeine, time release pre-workout performance drink that I don't, for whether I go on a run or go into the gym, I'm always, that's important. And it's just a great product. And so, these are plant-based. There's nothing weird or strange in any of them. Some of them are vegan, pure vegan, but we've got 9 different SKUs, which is kind of amazing. We're looking at some more, and that's going along great. People seem to love it. And if anybody here who's watching you and I, Meredith, if you go to mypowerlife.com, that's mypowerlife.com, you can put in the code Tony30 and you can get that discount, get that 30% off.
Well, thank you.
Oh, because you're kind of cool. So we'll get
you get little presents when you
your
show.
fan
That's
base.
awesome.
Yeah. And then I'm working with Tonal. I've shot 21 workouts with them. I think 11 are on the platform now. I just shot 10 more and they'll be up very soon. And then at the end of July, I go in the studio and I shoot 10 more of those. So there'll be a lot of Tony Horton on Tonal. And
I've been eyeing the Tonal, so now I'm eyeing it bigger.
It's truly something that should have been invented in 2035. It's so ahead of anything I have ever seen. I mean, you've got the mirror, which is like, it's a television they've done this with, right? They've gone like this and done that with, and they put their own trainers on there. And the only thing you can do is their trainers on their product. And you got to bring your own dumbbells and your own bands and your own everything. Where the Tonal has these 2 arms that go in every possible direction. So that you can, like, if you go to a gym, you got chest flies and goblet squats and bicep curls and tricep extensions. You do it all right there. You don't need, there's a bar, there's a rope and 2 handles, you're done. And every piece of equipment in the gym pretty much is simulated right there. And there are dozens and dozens of great trainers other than myself. And there are programs. I mean, you could just go, I want to do Tony Horton's program 1 or program 2, and then you just follow the sequence, and it's just, it's a no-brainer. And the thing thinks for you. If you get tired, it backs off. If it sees that you're doing more reps than you used to, it'll add more weight. You have chains mode on there, eccentric mode on there. You got something called flex flow on there, which is like a combination of eccentric and chains mode. So that you're getting every single rep, you're getting the maximum tension throughout the entire range of motion, which is crazy. The science of it is so, I mean, when I first saw one, I just called the CEO and I go, how do I get on your thing? And he said, oh, Tony, I heard about you. Yeah, come on in, go to work.
I've heard about you. You sound familiar.
Familiar guy. And then my kind of pet project is home because I can't do P90X4. I'm not with Beachbody anymore. So we have something called the Power of 4, which is food, fitness, mindfulness. And it's the components that keep people consistent, right? Food, fitness, supplementation, and mindfulness. Those 4 things are sort of critical. And, obviously, Power Life is part of that. The mindfulness practice is kind of new for a lot of people. And, you don't have to be a Buddhist monk on a mountaintop in a field of daisies, smelling incense. You can do it in your car. You can do it lying in bed. You can sitting on the john, however you want to just be quiet, walking your dog, playing music, reading a book. These are all, Epsom salt baths. These are all, anytime you let the pendulum swing in the other direction for 15 minutes or more, then that's a mindfulness practice. It doesn't have to be some sort of, really intense thing with candles in the room. You don't even have to light it. Be mindful. And that just helps people, and it's funny, here we are in 2021, everybody is so revved up all the time about too many things. And so there's a lot of physical, mental, and emotional stress happening in their lives. And the mindfulness practice just teaches you to chill out, So the Power of 4, there's 47 routines. We got about 2,000 people in our beta group. This has been going on since almost the beginning of the pandemic, which is kind of amazing. We had a 3-month beta 1. We had an intra month. So there's 4 months. We had another 3-month beta 2, then another intra month. And here we are into our 3rd week of beta 3. And then we're going to actually shoot these routines the first 2 weeks of August. So that will go out into the world and it'll be my next big thing. But it's all me. Like the Beachbody, they would tell me this, that, I have total control. I can name them. I can name these the silliest names and I can do it exactly the way I want to do it at my speed and my pace. And we've got a dedicated bunch of people, about 2,000 all around the world, from Iceland to Nashville to Alaska. They're all from all over the place, which is really neat. As opposed to back in the old days when we were with Beachbody, it would be a bricks and mortar thing, someplace here on the west side of LA, and there'd be 25 people in the room.
Right.
And that's great. That's how you test a product. Now, this thing has morphed tremendously as a result of getting input from 2,000 different people.
Sure.
So yeah.
Well, if you have if you have a movement that's like a burpee on ice, you can name it the Meredith, like that.
Yes.
That would be easy.
Yes.
Slide into a burpee.
Yes. Yeah. The
flying
Atwood, the icy
Atwood.
I don't know.
Oh, have mercy. Oh my gosh, Tony, thank you so much. Tell everyone where they can find you and follow you and be ready to grab the new program when it launches.
TonyHortonLife.com. TonyHortonLife.com. We do live events here at the house called the Paragon Experience. If this goes out relatively soon, I don't know when you're going to show this to the world, with 30 people from around the world coming to my home for 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I applied.
You did? Did we not accept you? Did we not get you?
I just applied today.
Well, how about you're in?
I might be too late.
How about you're in?
I was looking on your website and I was like, oh my gosh, you might want to read my answers first. I might not pass.
You're in. I'll have my people call your people.
Oh my gosh.
So that means officially there's only 2 slots left after you.
Who wants to come with me and Tony?
You want to bring a friend? Bring a friend. There'll be 1 slot left. No, okay, great. That's great. it's really an amazing 4 days. It's life changing. You come one person and you leave another, just because there's so much great information that you're gathering. You're getting me and other experts that are here to sort of disseminate what they know about everything. And we split people up into 2 groups. And the seminars are all in one room, but then when we do the physical stuff, my partner there, Michael Bradley, will take a group doing martial arts or some breathing exercises or something in the pool, and I'll take you down to the ninja course or obstacle course or something. And there's something for everybody. I mean, you've got to be in kind of pretty good shape. You can't come way out of shape. It's just no fun. But some people do come out of shape, and they'll watch the physical stuff and participate in all the workshops and seminars and stuff. So I'll put you on the list. Shauna, my wife, runs the whole thing, so she'll call you probably the next day or 2.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's exciting.
How about that?
Exciting.
Yeah.
How about that? See, you show up. You never know what happens.
You never know. You have a podcast with me, and then you're at my house, in a couple of months.
Oh my gosh.
So, very exciting.
Well, Tony, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, and just appreciate you.
My pleasure, Meredith. I'm glad I could be here. This was fun.